Top Shelf.
Hello and welcome to Top Shelf Board Games. I'm Hubba.
I'm Sabrina.
And today we're doing a review of Jarl, the Viking tile laying game. Now Jarl is a abstract strategy game that plays similar to chess. A turn consists of two different things that you can do. One, you can move a warrior tile, which there's multiple things that go on with that. We'll go into that in just a second. The second thing you can do is you can place a tile. So every player has a bag with their tiles, and each tile represents a different warrior. And on the tile, it tells you the different things that tile can do. So when you place a tile, you'll draw a tile from the bag, and then you'll place that tile next to your Jarl. Your Jarl is, think your king in chess. He's the main guy that you're trying to protect or capture from your opponent. So you'll take your tile that you drew and you'll place it next to your Jarl. One side has to share an edge, so it's got to be adjacent to your Jarl. And that's the playing a tile. The next thing you can do is you can move a warrior tile. There's multiple icons on the tiles. So let's go over what the different symbols are and what they mean. So the first thing you got is you get your starting side icon. Your starting side icon, when you pull your tile out, when you place it down, you have to make sure it's on the starting side icon. That's the main thing that's there for. Next is you have your jump icon. Your jump icon indicates that piece can jump to this specific location. It allows them to jump over other pieces and to be able to move around the board a little bit easier. Anytime your piece occupies a space held by your opponent, you'll capture your opponent's piece. The dread icon will freeze the tile in place, makes it to where that tile can't be captured, can't be moved, it can't have any abilities used on it. It's just stuck there until that next player's turn, and then it deactivates. Next thing you have is your non-starting side icon, which is just the opposite of your starting side icon. Each time you take an action with a tile, you're going to flip it over, and so you'll be going back and forth between your starting side icon and your non-starting side icon. Next, you have your strike icon. The strike icon allows your piece to attack a space without moving into that space. So strike is really effective at keeping people from getting too close to your tiles, because you'll be able to kill them without even moving. Next, you have your defense icon. Your defense icon prevents strikes, it prevents movement, it prevents capture if the capture is coming through the space that has the defense icon on it. You also have your non-capture move and your non-capture jump. So you can move to these spaces or you can jump to these spaces, but they're not allowed to capture your opponent's pieces with that movement. Next, you have your basic movement, which allows you to move into that space as long as there's not a piece blocking you. And then you have your command symbol. Your command symbol allows you to activate a piece that has the command symbol, and you can take a piece that you currently have on your side that's in one of those command spots, and you can move it to a different command location. So it allows you to move your pieces around using like one of your warlords to move your pieces around the board a little more effectively. And then the last symbol you have is your shield defense. Your shield defense is basically, it protects another piece. Much like the defense symbol, it just protects another piece and not the piece itself. And so that's your different symbols, and that's how each of them work. And on your turn, you're going to be either activating a tile and doing one of those actions, or you'll be just placing a new tile out. And that's how you play the game. Let's start with artwork and components.
There's not a lot of artwork towards it, but what they do have is pretty. I do like it. I mean, you know what it is. Like, you know what the arrows are, you know what the bows are and whatnot. And so it's really easy, but there's not a lot to it. So.
Yeah, the artwork is pretty straightforward. It's got the Viking theme, the TV show Vikings. That's the main theme that's been placed on the game, and so your board is pretty. It looks like a stone board. They were going for that kind of stone look. You think, Vikings back in the day, they probably had pieces that were made out of stone, and so that's kind of what they were going for here. You got your black stones that make up your pieces, and they have
the white ones.
Yeah, that makes it look kind of like a rock, almost a marble. Your white ones look almost kind of like a bone almost. Mm-hmm. And so the artwork, I think, fits the theme really well.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely thematic for not having a lot of artwork.
It's definitely thematic. It's got your pretty basic colors, your blacks, your whites, and it's got some red on the board. But I really like it. The layout of the tiles are really clear. You can see everything that the piece does very easily. I actually thought going into the game that it was going to be really difficult to know what your pieces do, mm-hmm. Just because there were so many symbols and there was just.
It felt a little overwhelming.
It felt like it was going to be a little overwhelming.
Then it was really easy, and I actually enjoyed it a lot better than chess.
Yeah, the pieces are, like I said, you can see all the locations and you can see all the actions that the piece does. It's very clear. It's clear enough that you can pretty easily see, oh, my opponent can move here if I move my piece there, mm-hmm. which, that's the big thing when you're playing like chess. You don't want to move to spaces that your opponent's going to be able to capture your piece.
Right.
So I was worried you wouldn't be able to see those types of moves because there was just so much symbols and stuff.
Right.
But you can definitely see it. You can, especially as you play it more, you start to learn what the pieces do, and you pick it up really quick, which is really good. And that comes a lot to the layout of the tiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really, really nervous when you brought it. I was like, oh no, not one of these ones. But I actually really like it, and I won the first time.
Yeah, we're tied. We're tied. So let's go into the final thoughts of the game. This is a game I like quite a bit. I don't really know how to describe it. It gives you that. It's definitely an abstract game. I don't play a ton of abstract games. Chess is really the biggest one I play, and I like chess quite a bit for an abstract type of game. This one gives me that chess feel, but adds a little bit more to it. And it makes it more gamerish, I guess, where you have multiple abilities that your pieces can do, and then each time you move them, they flip over, and then it gives you new abilities or a new pattern that piece can use. So there's actually quite a bit of thinking that can go into the game, but you gotta not get bogged down by that and just play the game. So I like the game a lot. I like it quite a bit. It's not one of my favorite games, but I do enjoy it, and it's for an abstract game. I think it's great.
For me, I'll probably play it a lot more with him because he likes to play those type of games, the war games. But I would rather play this than some of the other ones. So I do like this one a lot better. So this one's probably up there a lot higher for me. Yeah,
you can't compare it to Summoner Wars, but it does kind of have that feel of. When you bring your pieces out, you have to put it adjacent to your Jarl, which is kind of like Summoner Wars. You got to put it next to your walls. So it kind of has that aspect to it. And then you start out with just a few pieces on the board, and you can put a bunch more tiles out and kind of make it kind of a big army on the board moving around, or you can have your little squads moving around. There's different things you can do, and I really like it for that. It gives me that very abstracted feel of playing a Summoner Wars or something along those lines.
For me, it's not overwhelming. I mean, at first it's overwhelming, but when you're playing, you have certain choices, but then it's not completely, you're not overwhelmed by everything you have to do. So I like that.
Yeah. So good game. I enjoy it.
If you try it, let us know what you think of it.
And don't forget to subscribe, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Perfect timing. Keep starting crying.
Bye.